Hello, 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 my gorgeous, beautiful people. Thank you very much for joining me on this Saturday. I'm in Toronto, Canada. Thanks for coming here. Today, we're going to have a very lively live, and we're going to discuss about Meghan Markle's brand, and we're going to talk about other stuff as well. Bidan is not joining me today, but she will join me next Saturday. She's just doing some stuff, so she will join us next Saturday. But I have Laura Lynn, and she's Laura Loon. I don't know why I feel like saying Laura Lynn, but it's Laura Loon Farrow, who is an amazing person. And I would like you guys to please go subscribe to her channel because she's just amazing. And here we support people, you know that. So let me see. I'm gonna put the link here for you guys to see it, and that is her channel, Lauren Loon Farrow. I hope I'm saying correctly her name, but as you can see, I'm subscribed, and she's just starting her channel. She's fantastic. So please, please, please go subscribe to her channel, and let's welcome her here into our little channel neck of the woods and the tough streets of YouTube.
Hello. Lovely to be here. Thank you for having me.
How are you?
I'm good, really good, thank you. I'm doing the interview. Oh, someone's just messaged. Hi, Paula from Yorkshire, England. Yorkshire's
Yes.
a lovely part of
In
England.
Toronto, so please go subscribe. Yeah, I'm in Toronto, so if you want to send me an email and we can hook up and see each other. From New York, oh my God, Paula, I'm trying to buy 6 tickets, having difficulties. Yeah. Oh, by the way, guys, yeah, go buy tickets for them. I'm sorry about this. It's just that I have a little shelter. So this is the site, guys, and what you do here is the site is you will get 2 handmade leather bags. You have to register. You have to register because it's a secured YouTube approved website. And whenever you have to register and sign in, because what they do is they take your details. I don't pick the winner. The raffle, whatever, they pick the winner themselves. When this is over, they pick the winner themselves. And with this, you'll be helping to continue building the shelter because it has to be expanded. The rainy season was rough, and there's a lot of things to be done. So for the price of a cup of coffee, you're buying tickets, and it will ask you a question just to make sure you're human. It will ask you, who did Harry marry? No, you cannot answer the skank Markle. Unfortunately have her name there. That's Meghan Markle. So please support with your support. We need to buy. I need to sell 1,000 tickets because, unfortunately, these websites they take about 25% cut, and on top of that, you pay 30% tax. And that with half of it. So yeah, YouTube is rough. I'm telling you. But thank you so much for this, guys. And let's get started with Lauren. Lauren, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So I am a former celebrity publicist, and I spent 20 years working in mainstream media. So I worked up the ranks in PR, working at some of the best PR agencies in the country. And then I set up 2 of my own PR agencies. So one was a celebrity PR agency, and the other was, sorry, I've got 2 StreamYards up. I'll just get rid of one. And then the other was looking at experts, so people that had an area of expertise that wanted promotion. And within that, I've done household names. I've done tabloid fodder, which is very, very prominent in the UK. I've done brands. I've had record labels that have been clients. And I got to a stage where I no longer wanted to work in the mainstream media. I think mainstream media is corrupt. I do not like the ecosystem. I feel that people are not getting genuine news. And I, as a mother to 2 daughters, thought I cannot, in good faith, feel that I'm a role model to my children, being part of what I believe is a really toxic cycle that filters your news and distorts it before it's churned out to you. So I stopped my company and I had no plan. And then all of a sudden, being a, I guess, people's journalist and a media expert, I have been doing a lot on YouTube and the Dan Wootton Show and the Sean Atwood Show. And I now speak unfiltered with no mainstream agenda. And I would say, having been part of the toxic ecosystem that is the mainstream media, because anyone that operates it, as a byproduct, you are part of that problem. I would like to say I'm now part of a solution, which is educating people so they can then decide if they want to consume media that I think should come with a health warning.
That's one of the things I wanted to ask you about, because I've been so annoyed, Lauren, about the fact that I published a story about Meghan Markle's. I got an email response from Humphrey Yogurt.
Mm-hmm.
The one
Oh,
that she
yeah.
used to wear when she was 13 years of age, and I
Yeah.
did a video about it. It's amazing immediately how I've been very surprised. Not that, first of all, my channel has been targeted for quite a long time, not only by mainstream media, but by even Mexican community for some reason, because for me, my channel is about getting answers. And, I'm 56. So I'm old school, when people used to pick up the phone or send emails or whatever,
Mm.
it's, I don't Google like, oh, okay, Humphrey Yogurt, she said she worked when she was 13. Okay, let me call them and, whatever. So I got a response from them saying that, Humphrey Yogurt has never hired. They didn't say that Meghan was a liar, but they said that they um, have always complied with California laws, labor laws, that they have never hired a minor, and that if they did hire a minor, they would be violating X, Y, and they sent me all the links of the laws that they would have been violating, right?
Yeah.
And they said that whoever's saying that they were working as underage as kids at Humphrey Yogurt is lying.
So Meghan was caught out.
Well, but also I don't understand why the press doesn't do their little. That if you
Yeah.
Google the laws, labor laws of California,
Yeah.
especially in 1997, it was even worse, because in
Mm.
1997 you not only needed the parental permission, your father or legal guardian, but you also needed the school, because
Yeah.
and you needed to get certain grades, because if you were a bad student, the school would never sign off on this, because they considered that it was more important for you to study and graduate with good grades than to work. Secondly, what Mr. Markle is on the record saying that she's never worked.
So
Third,
I think I can answer the question about why do the mainstream media not pick up on those things. So it's really important to remember that the mainstream media is a for-profit organization. They are corporates. They do not exist to provide you with your news. That is not their sole purpose. Their sole purpose is to run a business that makes profit. That is the bottom line. And as such, the media ecosystem and the news agenda, it moves rapidly. And so they are not sat there. And I'm sure there are always good journalists within a system. Not every single person is bad, but the way the system is built is to churn that news out, to get people buying, clicking, get that ad revenue up. So many things fall by the wayside. And that's something that I found incredibly frustrating, because I feel that the job is never done properly. The media's job, I believe, is to hold people accountable, to challenge the truth, to investigate, to provide a full package of news to the public. This doesn't happen. And it certainly doesn't happen when you've got someone like Meghan Markle and Harry, who have access to media teams, lawyers, they can buy the very best that there is to buy. Not that you would know it by looking at their profile, because it is horrific. But in terms of, the news agenda and things kind of not breaking through, and you not getting a full picture of the news, that is why.
but don't you think, for example, that lady that did the Bloomberg interview, and I think she was shading her when she brought her that yogurt, and she said that was her first job, right?
Yeah.
She goes, yes, yes. She goes, oh my God, I didn't even know they existed. I This lady could have said to her, by the way, we investigated California laws
Yeah.
and said that you couldn't work. In fact, when you were 13, it was 14 years of age, the minimum age. And that was with the school permission and your father's permission. And you were not allowed to be around machinery. So you would have to be like a cashier or picking up the tables or whatever. She wouldn't have been able to make any yogurts or anything like that, right? And then, and I would have brought that up and I would have said, but wait a minute, you said all your life that every day after school that you grew up in this set of Married with Children. And I would have brought up, wait a minute, didn't you say that in the Emma Greta's podcast that after school you went to work at your at your Black grandfather's antique store? I mean,
Yeah.
how many jobs can this woman have? That either she grew up in the set of Married with Children, or she was working at her non-existent Black grandfather's antique store, or she was working at the age of 13 at Humphrey Yogurts. So why didn't this woman do her job and question her in all those contradictions and all those lies? Which one is it?
So when I was a celebrity publicist, I would, and this is the same for, you know, any publicist you would speak to, unless they weren't very good at their job. Anytime I put a client in front of a journalist, I would either have full approval of the questions that they would be asked, or I would have full approval of the final copy. Now, obviously, this is print press I'm talking about, but broadcast works very similarly. So you will have a journalist, and you'll often watch interviews with journalists, and you'll think, you'll be screaming at the screen going, why are you not asking the one blaming question we all want? It's because someone's just said multiple jobs for multiple personalities. That's brilliant. Any journalist that gets in front of someone like Harry and Meghan, it is so highly controlled. There is no off the cuff. There's no spontaneity. There is no questions slipping in. This is months and months of back and forth between PR teams and news desks, or whoever was setting up the interview. And that is how you as a publicist ensure that you hold the narrative and that you create and control the narrative. You'll often hear people talk about the narrative, and sometimes I think, you know, people, when we come from the industry, it can be a bit confusing for people, because it's really totally common for us to know that every single famous person ultimately has a publicist, and the publicist filters and controls, and you've got your client here and you've got the media here, and you're keeping the media on a really tight leash, and your client is doing as you say. I guess it's what they call in America a handler almost. And so if that journalist asked a question that was not on the approved list, they would then never, ever get access again to Harry and Meghan, I would assume. And that would mean that potentially the PR agency that also probably looks after other names, although to be honest, when I was looking, the PR agency was very, very techie, not actually celebrity focused. But you scold the media like a dog if they fall out of line. And it's that way that you're able to eliminate journalists questioning your client. And the best thing you can do as a celebrity publicist, when something bad happens, or if there's a scandal, you genuinely pretend it never happened. And that sounds wild, but you genuinely pretend it never happened, move on.
Yeah. The link to subscribe to Lauren isn't, you're watching it right now. It's going to be, and I've showed her channel at the very beginning, but don't you worry. I'm going to be showing her channel throughout, because we have to support each other. I usually decided never to support anybody in my channel after what's happened, but you work with Sean, and Sean is amazing. And he would never have snakes in his channel. Well, he has one right now, but other than that, it's okay.
I love Sean. He's like, I have this thing, I have ADHD, and so frequently my husband's so used to me at like 2 a.m. going down the rabbit hole. I'll be like, I think someone's a Freemason, and then like it's like 4 a.m. and I'm like, I think I'm getting close, I found it, or whatever it may be. And then when Sean offered me a show, I was like, this is like my dream, Sean, because I go down the rabbit hole voluntarily. And I'm a critical thinker. And now my husband can't say, don't stay up till 2 a.m. doing this. I'm like, it's work. I have to do it.
Let me show you this. This is Richmond, London. I used to live there for 2 years. That's awesome. It's beautiful there. I was at St. Margaret's, and then Richmond is really, really pretty. Camilla's sister lives in Richmond.
Yeah, I love Richmond. Did you see lots of deers there when you were there?
Well, yeah, in the park, when we used to go to the park. Yeah. It was really beautiful. Very, I used to love walking around there, so pretty. But I want to show you this interview because this is, you see, this is the, I want you to criticize a little bit or give me your perspective from this, because this was actually recorded 12 years ago. And this is why I did my video yesterday about Meghan Markle's age, because how can a person get it so wrong? Because I did my video about pivotal moments, because she talks a lot about pivotal moments, right?
Yeah.
And for me, pivotal moments are like September 11, where I can guarantee you, you know what? I watched the first plane going to the tower. My ex-husband, my soon to be, my now ex-husband was on the second floor of our house, and I called out to him and I said, "Oh my God, a plane just went into the tower." And he goes, "No." And I said, "That tower, that isn't a terrorist attack." And he goes, "No, it's got to be an accident." But you, like, how can it be an accident unless the plane malfunctioned? It was like, and the way the plane went in, it's like it went in. That thing was like going in. And then when the second plane went down and hit the second tower, I said, "Oh my God, this is really," and both towers are going down. And I'll never forget what my now ex-husband said to me. "It will never happen. Those towers were built to withstand." I said, "They have to crumble. They have to crumble." And I was so worried because I have friends there, that I work with in New York. Yes, guys, Claudia Salas, and I hope you bought the tickets too. So she's at 323 subscribers. Can we try to get her to at least 1,000 by the time we're done with this live? Come on, guys, we can do it.
Oh, I love you, Claudia.
She's not even a subscriber anymore. She's a personal close friend who I hope will cook for me someday. She's a chef in the Navy. So, and like a proper, but not for everybody. She cooks for like VIPs. So I'm sure her food is amazing. And but so you're trying, let me know what the problem is so I can see if people, because I haven't been able to sell it, just sold one ticket. But I want to show you this clip and I want you to tell me what you think, because this is from an interview she gave 12 years ago.
Yeah.
And they asked her if she's written to what you might call any celebrity that she might have written to, right? So
Yeah.
this is her. Okay.
Yasmin Bleeth. Oh my God! I wrote Yasmin Bleeth. That's the only one I ever wrote. And then I saw her. I used to work at a frozen yogurt store in LA. It was my first job. It was called Humphrey Yogurt. I saw her in the parking lot, and what do I say to her? The most ridiculous thing you could say. "Oh my God, I love you so. I loved you in that soft and dry commercial."
The most important thing I put on is soft, smooth, and feels just like silk.
She just looked at me very blankly, like, "Okay, thank you." And I walked very meekly back into Humphrey Yogurt.
There's only one problem, because she gave a different story to what's her name, Jamie Kern Lima. She said that was a pivotal moment. She didn't meet her in the gas at the parking lot. She met her. This is what she told. This is what she's saying here.
Yeah.
There's a few problems with this thing, and there's a lot to unpack with Meghan Markle. There's a few.
Also, this is so. We were told the story by Meghan that ultimately, you would have thought she was volunteering barefoot, making care packages for people. Like, this is almost what she's had us believe. And that she was writing to the UN and this and that. And then she tells us that the only famous person she's written to is on Baywatch. Nothing adds up. I feel like Meghan plays to who she's talking to. So I feel like she becomes certain characters as such. So, if she is doing charity work, it's very much quieter and this and that. If it's, doing a
charity work, and the only charity she has is like herself.
Oh yeah. But I feel like, because I was just thinking on that royal tour, everything is just so curated as to who she is around. And this is the thing. This is what I say. Like, I'm a massive advocate. I get a lot of flack for saying things without a filter, but I'm a massive advocate for women and children. Okay. Everything that I do on Sean's channel, if possible, is centered around victims and survivors. So
that's what I'm going to be doing with my channel too, now that I have a little platform. But this is the thing, I just wanted to,
because with Meghan,
we have so much to talk about. We're
it's
going to
disingenuous. Like,
guys, we're going to be doing this on a weekly basis. We're going to be having Lauren on a weekly basis. So it's going to be a lot of fun. But I just wanted to ask you this from a brand point of view, because you're an expert marketing. This little clip, do you think that she forgot she gave this interview 12 years ago when she spewed her lies to Jamie Kalima? Because now here we see that, and this is something very important that I talk about her age, because you see that Yasmin Bleeth deodorant commercial, the first one she ever did was in 1997. Which means Meghan Markle would have been 16 or 17, and it was late 1997. I think it was August, September 1997 that Yasmin Bleeth did it. So that presents quite a few things. In this interview, she said it's her first job, but she doesn't say she was 13. And this is where I go to the media that I wanted to ask you, because I got 2 major newspapers contact me. If I gave you the names of who contacted me, you would flip out. I will tell you later. But because he wanted my source. And I said, why didn't you call? I mean, not only that, you can search up the laws, the state of California. You can have her father's on record. We even had Ed O'Neill and the Ellen DeGeneres show when he was interviewed, and he was showing Meghan Markle. He goes, isn't she the Markle little girl? Yes, she used to come every day talking, after school. She's been in many interviews saying that it was even perverse to be in the set of after, So either she was 16 years old or she was 13 in 1997, which presents itself a problem, because that means that she lied about her age to the entire world, and the royal family has lied about her age to the entire world because it turns out she's younger than Harry.
Yeah. Oh, first of all, I think Meghan has lost track of what is real and what isn't real. I genuinely think that she does live in a fantasy world, and the point I was making is that I am a massive supporter of women. What I'm not a supporter of is people that are disingenuous and take the piss out of the public.
Are you telling me Meghan Markle is not authentic?
Yeah.
Real?
Yeah, she's not. And I think
I mean, if you look up the terminology authentic and real, because now she's talking like that. I was just looking at her Larry King interview and other interviews. She never spoke like that.
Yeah. Everything's changed. What's interesting?
I think Satan has taken over.
I think I think that she's always been disingenuous, because I know people that worked with her in the UK NPR, and it was very much, for 2 years she was she was paying a UK PR, and that's actually very weird if you're not based in the UK. People would normally say, right, I'm in town for 2 months, I'll pay you for
one moment, Lauren, 1 moment. Okay, there are over 1,000 of you in the chat. I only see 22 subscribe to Lauren. I think we can do better. Her link isn't, you're watching it right there, so you can go look at that, subscribe to her channel. We can do better.
And I will put content out. It's been summer holidays in the UK with the kids, and it's been nuts.
So continue. Sorry about that. It's just that, come on, guys.
But yeah, I think she wasn't genuine then. I think Meghan has always known what Meghan wants, and will adapt like a chameleon, adapt as to who she's around to make that happen. And the people that she was hanging around with in the UK were opening doors for her, but they were not. She was very much going up the ladder. So what you'd see her becoming friends with Lizzie Cundy, who was a socialite. And I'm sure, I've worked with Lizzie, very nice woman, but not A-list, not B-list, C,
but
D.
didn't Lizzie try to set her up? Didn't Meghan swimming in those oceans and those waters when she was trying to land a husband?
Oh, is this the yacht girl stories?
Well, no, Lizzie Cundy is on record saying that Meghan Markle ghosted her.
No. Because then after Lizzie Cundy, it then was Meghan Markle, met up with Piers Morgan, and it's kind of like up that ladder. Although I would argue Piers Morgan's at the bottom of the ladder because he's gross. But I think Lizzie Cundy is definitely above him. Piers Morgan has blocked me on. Yeah. it's because I called him out for something that is factually correct, which a lot of people in media like to pretend never happened, which, you know, again, like you say, how come journalists do not mention things to Meghan? Pretend it never happened, move on.
Yeah, but that's the thing that drives me insane. And you know what? And I've been very always surprised, because for me, it's getting to, I have this thing, ADHD kind of thing that, you know, it's like, you know, okay, I'm going to say something very gross, but it's true. Have you ever guys have like a dead animals or a rat in your house or something, and you don't know, you can smell it, but you don't know where it is? And you're like sniffing around trying to find where the hell is that smell coming from. I'm like that when something is fishy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, where is this? Why is, if something doesn't add up, I want to know why. And it's like I have to find out. So the thing with this, Lauren, is like I was thinking, this woman, from her point of view, from her brand, Lauren, this Jamie Kern Lehman lady, right, has Meghan there. I'm sure she has people that have told her, because they have seen all this. Anybody that I'm going to have on my channel, I do a little bit of research now.
Yeah.
Before I used to, and I wouldn't, but you do a little bit of research and then you find out, you know, certain things. I would want to talk to them about it.
Mm. Yeah, but this is the thing. This is in the mainstream media. So you're obviously a free thinker and you critically think, and so, you know, you're challenging the narrative. But most, you know, most people are digesting mainstream media and taking it as fact. Mainstream media news is propaganda. So this is exactly why those journalists are not asking Harry and Meghan the hard questions. I don't know if you saw the Tom Bradbury interview that Harry did with ITV.
Oh, that's not even an interview. That was a set of questions, and then Tom Bradby kind of questioned something that was so outrageous that he kind of like, don't you think it's like almost scared, you know? And that's what really bothers me. I wouldn't have a problem if mainstream media kept shut up or put it, but it's just the gaslighting, but also the trashing to YouTubers, because what they do is they use the stories that we put out. Either they're trying to denigrate us, oh, you're not real journalists, I'm a journalist, then do your job. Or they use our stories, and in order to avoid any, to have plausible deniability, what they do is that, oh, according to the YouTuber.
Yeah. So you'll see that actually this is a really important fact for your audience to know. With the news agenda, you will often see the Mail Online are huge culprits at this.
Oh,
they will want to say a certain agenda, but they won't be able. They kind of feel like we can't put that out there because we can't be seen to say that. So they will go on to X and they will search things in, and public backlash because of X, Y, and Z. And then they run with that narrative, which is insane. But also there's another point, is that we believe that primary sources or trustworthy, that picture of Meghan's awful, you're making me look at.
Because I want you to, we're going to react on this on all of our brand, because we're going to summarize it very succinctly with her. I'm going to take advantage of her from a brand point of view, why she does this, you know?
So primary sources would ordinarily be your mainstream media and the trusted outlets. And there are so many incredible independent journalists, but they're not seen as primary sources. And so you've got so many independent journalists who have, you know, not just they've got like physical proof, court documents, X, Y, and Z. And that's just disregarded because it's not a for-profit corporation. And it's, can I swear?
Yeah, we're going past the 15-minute mark.
It's bollocks.
Well, that's not swearing. I thought you were going to properly swear. That's disappointing, Laura. I got to say.
My mum tells me off. I do swear too much. So this video of Meghan, was this at the UN Women?
Yeah, I want to play you this, and then I'm going to play you another one that I want you to see so we can react. So sorry about that, guys. Trigger warning, scant speaking.
I want to tell you a story that'll sort of give context to my being here and my work with UN Women. When I was just 11 years old, I unknowingly and somehow accidentally became a female advocate. It was around the same time as the Beijing conference, so a little over 20 years ago. where in my hometown of Los Angeles, a pivotal moment reshaped my notion.
I'm gonna
Hang
play
on,
you now
that would
another one. No, wait. I'm gonna play you another one. Let's not forget that she said a pivotal moment. Okay. Wait, and I want you to, and I will tell you what a pivotal moment means. It's something again that it reshaped you. That is absolutely true. Like when Princess Diana died, that's another pivotal moment that I know where I was. Okay, so listen to this one. This is the original, what you might call it, the original Nickelodeon show, because this was not even a commercial. Mr. Markle called in a favor from the executive and said, "Can we make a little show because my little princess never got a response from anybody?" Right? So this, remember that Meghan Markle said when she was 11, it was a pivotal moment, right?
My name is Meghan Markle. I'm 12 years old.
Nick News.
I hate my wimpy toilet bowl cleaner.
Okay. I'm not even going to continue. Please elaborate.
I mean, also, this is, Thomas Markle made this happen. And
the point is, why does she lie? Why wouldn't Meghan Markle look at her own freaking commercial and realize it's 12, that she is 12, not 11?
Oh, look, some people are genuinely batshit crazy. I knew someone who had Munchausen.
Meghan could have some issues. Lauren.
I knew someone that had Munchausen, and the things that they told me that they genuinely believed, it was chilling. There has to be something not right with her for this, because it's that kind of cherry picking narratives, that adapting to who you're around, and I just don't know why anyone would lie. Just tell the bloody truth, and then you're never going to get caught out. But it's that living in the fantasy world, and it's that hustle, living in cuckoo land.
But do you think that this woman has serious mental issues, or do you think, guys, only 368 subscribers? I am very disappointed.
I think she has serious mental health issues.
No, not mental health. No, mental health is if you are having like a victim who's under abuse or whatever. Right. I'm talking like properly. The elevator doesn't reach the penthouse kind of thing.
I think there is definitely something really concerning, because let's go back. Okay. Her narrative doesn't stack up at all from when she came into the royal family. And so everything in how Meghan frames it, she is the victim. And actually, she should have come out and said, I genuinely didn't know what I was letting myself in for. And I was being given advice, and I got offended and didn't know how to take it, and I was overwhelmed. Do you know what? The world would have been like, we get it. But there's never been any vulnerability where Meghan has been vulnerable in a way that wasn't, she said she had postnatal depression and she felt suicidal. But there's also, I think there's having vulnerability where you also are a human that is human and falls short, and you don't get everything right, and you're learning. But every single thing if you look at the kind of timeline of Meghan, it's everyone else's fault. And that for me, I find, it's alarm bells, because I was asked on a show recently about the whole pantyhose story with her, and she said she was forced to wear these tights, this and that. And I said, it's probably a case of the courtiers saying, because the world's pressure on you, women normally wear nude tights because of blemishes, this, and it's just part of protocol.
Not only that, Lauren, your dresses fit better. Her skin is not the best. It is just a dress code. She used to wear tight pantyhoses during suits, and she didn't wear a lot of pantyhoses in a lot of engagements, official engagements. She didn't wear pantyhoses in a lot of official engagements. The only ones that she wore was when she was in front of the Queen, and not even her first engagement with the Queen. She didn't wear pantyhose. She didn't wear the hat that they asked her. And in suits, they would make her wear certain things. So she's full of it. Like she's full of shit. She literally full of shit.
When you are in the royal family, it is a job, and I wouldn't go to work not dressed properly for my job. Do you know what I mean? You have to go professionally. And I think the more that Meghan just shows us who she is, the more we just love Catherine.
Yeah, but what does it do for her brand, the fact that she lies so much?
Well, Meghan's brands have not connected. I think the TIG, it didn't really have success, but I will say that there was a sense of it being authentic, whereas because I don't think it was done just for money at that time. She wasn't part of the royal family, but I think every single thing hasn't had big success since, because no one trusts her. Her narrative is inconsistent. So, to buy into a brand, the foundation of that is trust and respect. You don't part with your money and buy into a brand that you don't trust. And she's also she's done the whole business model backwards. So she's trying to be Martha Stewart, but instead of earning people's respect, she's doing it backwards. She's launching the products, and then she's done it all the wrong way around.
I was just doing a live in Spanish, because I do lives in Spanish and I have a Spanish channel too. And I was saying to my friend that in Meghan Markle's mind, she feels that she doesn't need to prove anything to anybody, because in her mind, the fact that she married into the royal family and that she is a duchess, or allowed to use the title of duchess, is validation enough. It shows that she's capable and she got there. So this is why she says, I don't have to prove anything to anybody, because in her mind, she feels that she's validated, because otherwise, in her mind, she thinks, I wouldn't have been able to marry this guy, would be able to use a royal title, were not for the fact that I actually deserve it. That's how sick this woman is. Yeah. And she thinks that the royal title is going to wipe her out. And I also believe that she feels that the fact that Fergie's still there and embraced back by King Charles now, which is a huge mistake, she feels that she's safe, because if they're doing that with Fergie, of course they're going to do that for her, especially that mixed race. I mean, what do you think?
I mean, God, Fergie and Andrew just need to go absolutely just ludicrous. It really is. It just is such a stain on our royal family, Andrew, and by association, anyone close to him. So what was the question? Sorry, I was ranting about Andrew.
No, it's okay. We'll talk about it. But Meghan Markle, I mean, why is it that it's her brand? Like, she's not authentic. She looks like she's possessed. The way they act, the new accent she has, it's just wild.
So, okay, the brand is, I believe, absolutely, the brand strategy for her is created by ego. There is no foundation to this, because I have never heard of anything so wild that you would, your predominant, I don't even know, I've never met a Meghan Markle fan, but let's just say fan base is female. And so we are in really tough economic times around the world. Why you would come out with these kind of products when people are really struggling to pay their bills, flower petals, and, this jam and this expensive wine. There is no credible expert in branding, marketing, PR, or business that would sit her down and say, this is the way to do it. I think any business strategist would probably say, why don't you make an affordable line and go nationwide with it, instead of going like that? For me, it's ego driven, where it's trying to compete with the Fortnum and Masons and the Harrods and Selfridges that we have in the UK. That's where she positions it in her mind, because anything below would be beneath her.
But do you think that we were talking this, like, do you think she feels safeguarded by the fact that Fergie is still around and welcome, and that they're not going to do anything to her? Because, I mean, in her mind, Fergie has done much worse than she has, which is true. I mean, Fergie was selling cash for access for cash, like,
he was getting her toes sucked on the cover of the News of the World. And, Fergie accepted money from Epstein. So a loan, I believe it was. But yeah, I'm sure Meghan is looking at Andrew and Fergie and thinking, because in her mind, I think she genuinely thinks everything that has happened it's everyone else's fault. So I don't think she would be sat here like us saying, hang on, this doesn't make sense. You know, Harry and Meghan speak like people that have got a therapist on tap all the time to, you know, like, tell me your truth. There's just something, it's very woke.
Yeah, this is the Duchess wearing tights, by the way.
And the thing is, like, look, we've all done those jobs.
She wore tights also for Deal or No Deal.
Yeah, we've all done jobs whereby, you know, it wasn't our brightest moment, but you don't erase that part of your CV. It's all part and parcel of what makes you you. But I think the side we're seeing to her now is so curated purely by her. And even if you look at that As Ever brand, okay, the attention to detail,
terrible,
to curate
that bug that was floating around.
It's also not a cheap, you know, the way she's done the site and the way she has done all the images for marketing and socials. It's not a cheap way to do it either. And you can tell that everything is micromanaged within an inch of her life. And you just think this is all for white labeled wine.
But I mean, if what attention to detail, you wouldn't post something with a bug or have a bunch of peaches that are all green. And then you just happen to pick the one that's ripe. I mean, everything, or different size Lilibets, you know, or different size Archies. At least hire the same bloody child actors because there's no way that little girl is 3 years in one picture and she looks like she's 7 in another one, bigger than Archie.
But you know what I thought? You know that picture where it was the day after With Love, Meghan bombed because it was released. And Meghan, there was a video of Lily running through the kitchen, then stopping, going to the picture of
a dog.
Yeah, and then
by the way, Harry never sent her that picture, and that was not Lily running.
Well, I thought as well. I thought, this is very weird. And then I sat and thought about it. And like my child, meanwhile, was like throwing something at my head and telling me she hated what I cooked her for dinner. I was like, oh yeah, this is real life. But it was so curated how she ran, like that, didn't look round. And because we know they don't want to put the children's faces in the public domain. And I thought that was all just like, oh, and so you happened to be stood there with a camera. It's like when those celebrities are dolled up in the Maldives and they're like, oh my goodness, there's a paparazzi right on the tiny island where there are only 3 people. It's like, it's husband taking the pap shot. We all know.
Yeah, but this is the thing that we're talking about her brand, because this woman, I mean, Jesus needs to take the wheel with this woman or something. Or I mean, she needs either holy water sprinkled because Meghan is pure evil. You know, no, I mean, Satan has taken a hold of that building, because I was looking at this and it's like, how stupid can you be? I am a businesswoman. And I can tell you, I'm not even techie. And she has a huge thing at her disposal. And I wanted to ask you about it. By the way, guys, I'm going to check how many subs. I was going to say, Manuela, how many subs Lauren has. I am going to be very upset. Only 385, and I have over 1,000 some people, almost 1,500 people. I think we can do better. You see the screenshot there. It's embarrassing. You're embarrassing me in front of Lauren. That's all I can say. So go and subscribe because she's amazing. Yeah, Claudia, thank you. And go buy the raffle tickets or whatever. And don't forget that the Harry, Mary, not Skank Markle, but Meghan Markle. So don't go writing Skank Markle. But I was gonna say, we've been on for almost an hour, 44 minutes. But I wanted to ask you, what is number one? Do you think she listens to her publicist?
No. I know she doesn't, because everything about with Meghan, what you have to see is these are not decisions that are driven by strategy where you're taking advice. This is someone that is micromanaging their own career, which, you know, I'm all for former clients being involved in it, but also don't take on experts if you don't want to listen to them. Now, we know because of the bullying cases that have come out about Meghan, you know, she was hounding people at all hours of the day. She was very, very difficult to work for when she was in the royal family. So you already know that she's not an easy team player to get along with. And if you see, you know, all of her brand decisions, they're just disjointed. They make no sense at all. I mean, how, right? You announce you've got a brand and you haven't even trademarked it. How does that like that is I would fire a whole team of people if that had happened. That is an incredibly ridiculous mistake to have made. You would trademark. I'll tell you an example.
I know how to trademark. I've done 5 trademarks on my own, and I can tell you something, guys. When you go to the USPTO, United States Patent Trademark Office, on the website, the first thing when you want to trademark, the first thing they ask you is to put the name you want to call your company, to see if there are any other companies that could be potential. That's the first thing. And I'm not even a lawyer, because if you want to self-trademark the place, the USPTO, I kid you not, they do that. They go United States USPTO, and I'm going to show you this, for example. When you do trademarks, and here, like if you want to do patent your trademarks, you can do here. I'm not going to do here because I don't want to take too much time, but you can do it. And you go here.
You also get celebrities that before the child has even come out, they've trademarked the name.
Yeah. You see, you go to the trademark search system. That's the first thing that they send you to. And then if your name it tells you, okay, that name is taken and this and that, because what happens, and this is why she hasn't been able to trademark, is because when you do the search for the trademark system, it shows you that there's a bunch of As Ever companies. The Chinese company, the As Ever Photography, that's trademarked, because you see in the trademark, there's another lie that she said that, oh, when the woman asked, oh, I even heard rumors that you want to go into hospitality. She goes, oh my God, that's the first time I've ever heard. No, you skanky. The As Ever original one has hospitality, hotels, has everything, has audio, prints. And this is why the person from As Ever Photography, which is trademarked, it's a legitimate claim, because when you want to trademark something, they have to post it for opposition first within your country and then internationally if you want to be registered worldwide, which is why she couldn't do that with Archwell. Because I actually helped the guy from Philippines. I believe he was from the Philippines, because he has his little hair and nails that was called Archwell. So he started this huge campaign because she wanted him. She couldn't trademark it worldwide because of this young guy in the Philippines that does hair and nails, because he was very vocal about it. So they haven't been able to. She hasn't been able to trademark anything, and I don't understand how Netflix went in on with this woman.
The Netflix deal is not all that it seems at all. So there was stores that they're saying they're selling her products. It's all very, I'm yet to actually see any proof of that, as in Netflix kind of have joined up with people. But I think what's really interesting is how this gives you an insight into why I think Meghan is completely on a different planet. Because when the story came out about Netflix renewing the deal, this is utter rubbish. What it is it's a clause. So the first Netflix deal that Harry and Meghan did, obviously Netflix had the big, interview, and they wanted to make sure that further down the line they'd covered themselves. So within this contract, which is the same, I've got books on my shelf that I've done the deals for. I've got, a whole thing of contracts to the other side of me. Publishers, record labels, everyone, they want to make sure that they get the first look at future work. that's so common because they don't want to miss out. They don't want to have pumped everything into, you know, the first contract and 4 projects or whatever, and then miss out. So they get first refusal. They get the option to bid first on it. That is all it is. That's all it was. And it was spun like, you know, Netflix renews. Not at all. And anyone that works in an industry where they've looked at any contracts will tell you it's the nuts and bolts of every contract in entertainment, media, anything like that.
I mean, this woman is a nightmare. I mean, I kid you not. I'm going to show you this, guys, because this is very interesting for you to see that as ever. This is still pending. I mean, this thing is still pending, guys. She hasn't been able to do any of the trademarks or anything like that. She hasn't been able to do them. Let me see if it's the one that I have.
See, this makes me think, okay, that yes, I know there's a PR team that they were keen to highlight that it's a team of 8 across 5 different time zones, which I think is, you know, totally unneeded because of stakeholders. They wanted to get back to them quicker. But I would say that this to me looks like she's doing all of this herself. I don't think what they are portraying is anywhere near what the reality is, because we know that the people that make the wine actually make Barry Manilow's wine. We know it's a company that does white labeling, and so that's a really cheap way to do it. And we, you know, they're saying that they've sold out of certain products, but you never know. They could list one. I did it all the time when I had celebrity clients and something wasn't selling and I needed a story. You just say sold out, you know, bestseller, went to #1 within the first 3 minutes of the website going live. There is no way these would still be pending. And I know this because I had my own t-shirt company, which was an utter disaster. And I ended up with about 3,000 t-shirts that I ended up giving to charity. But I didn't know whether it was going to work or it wasn't going to work. And I trademarked it from the beginning. And it was very, very quick. So this to me looks like they've actually, again, like I said, done everything backwards. It is ego driving this strategy. This is not, and this is what really annoys me, is this is not a genuine passion whereby someone like Martha Stewart, you know, you can go back in her CV history and she was learning the ropes. She was climbing up that ladder and it naturally evolved and she monetized it.
And Martha Stewart is talented. She is the GOAT. She's the GOAT. I mean, this is a woman, and Martha Stewart, when she does her show, she is promoting her brand, her food, her cookbooks, her pots and pans. Meghan, what did she promote in Netflix? Nothing, because she hadn't secured. She lied to Netflix about having everything trademarked, and it was too late because Netflix was saying American Riviera Orchard. Because now this is amazing. Nobody's talking American Riviera Orchard now. Yeah,
but also there's even that name, American Riviera Orchard, too long. It's just not catchy, and it's not going to work. So and she's also done all the calligraphy, and that's why I say she's highly involved.
That's cursive.
Yeah, she's highly, like, you can just imagine her sat at that desk with Harry. You know, they love working from home together. If I worked at a desk next to my husband, I would do his head in. You know, all of this, it's that curated image of everything's perfect.
But she's just stupid. But the thing is that, where do you see this woman? Because now she's putting out in the press that, she would consider coming back.
Yeah, I mean, that's not going to go down well here whatsoever. Because I think as well, Meghan is not liked at all here. And, you know, I think people feel very let down by Harry. But I also think deep down, we also see, when we see Harry, we see the child that walked behind Diana's coffin.
And he's milking that. I'm fed up with this asshole, you know, that ginger wanker asshole. I think there is I think he's worse than Meghan, to tell you the truth.
Do you? See, I mean, look, I don't like either.
You can disagree with me. You can disagree. Please go for it.
I don't like either of them. I think she's much, much worse, though, to be honest. And I think she is I don't like anything about her, but I think there is that if it didn't work with Harry and Meghan and he came back here, I think there's some of the nation that still see that child that was 11 years old behind his mum's coffin. And there is that you want Harry to be okay. Was he 11? Yeah, he was young. I'm sure he was 11. But Meghan has trashed our royal family and has done nothing but moan about everything in this country. You know, she hates us and the feeling's mutual.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, that is his family.
Yeah. But you know what, if you want to burn a bridge, right spare, call your family, you know, have your wife call your family racist on Oprah, which there was no way those questions weren't approved. They're neighbours. She said, you're hardly going to go to Oprah for a hard interview, are you? I mean, crikey. She's as disingenuous as Meghan. But yeah, nothing about Meghan is genuine, and Harry has burnt the bridge, I think. But the only way I see back is if it wasn't with her, because there is such bad feeling in the UK towards her, and taking the Mickey out of the Queen, and you know everything she's done is just driving a bigger wedge, if that was even possible, between Meghan and the UK.
But you know the thing, I this is just my very humble opinion, clearly, but I think that she doesn't come back because they have stripped her of or forbidden her to use the HRH, which means that she would have to bow to Catherine, to curtsy to Catherine, and to any other royal, which is why she put out, because that is her, that's not Harry. Harry's an idiot. He's not putting out articles demanding that she be addressed as HRH and people bow to her and curtsy to her, because she, right now, if she goes back to the UK, it's about, she would have to curtsy to everybody because she's not allowed to use the HRH.
Yeah, I know, that's brilliant. But also, I've said it as well.
Oh, good comment.
I don't think their egos are not compatible with falling in line with a hierarchy that doesn't have flexibility. You know, the royal family, it is rigid. Things are set in stone, and that is how it is. So if you come into the fold, even if it's at events in whatever capacity, if you are, and even actually behind closed doors, you know, you're not going to have Harry pick up the phone or text Charles. It's just not how it works. And so immediately by engaging with the royals, Harry and Meghan are falling into a hierarchy system whereby it's not compatible with their egos.
So, and I mean, I just want to play this. I want to thank you guys for this PayPal donations, for the super chats. Please subscribe to Lauren's channel. You're embarrassing me. We're not even at 500 subscribers, and I have clear, guys. I almost have 1,800 of you on the chat. You are embarrassing me. And please go buy a raffle. It helps the channel, and not for me, not for the channel, but for the shelter. It's a cup of coffee, you know. But go subscribe to Lauren. It's embarrassing that we should have her up to 500 or at least 1,000. Come on, guys, you can do better.
Thank you to those that have subscribed. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I want to thank those of you who have, but this is how you support us, guys, by subscribing, watching our videos, you know, because God knows, going back to the press and yes, Claudia, but we can be a 1,000 and you haven't bought the tickets yet. So I was going to say, there is the thing with the press that we're going to close up with here.
Mm-hmm.
Why are they listening to a skank like Meghan Markle? And I call her a skank because her actions are skanky.
So with the press, Harry and Meghan sell for the press. And so the press need Harry and Meghan as much as Harry and Meghan need the press. It doesn't mean people are so it doesn't mean there's necessarily good feeling. It doesn't mean people like Harry and Meghan, but it's that car crash, you know, that constant, what are they saying? Yeah, she's not genuine. It's bad news sells. So that is why the press feature her. But also, you know, Harry and Meghan made it very clear that they, from the very beginning, they didn't work cooperatively with the press. I don't like the mainstream press, so I thought that was quite good. But what they've done since is they've dipped their toe in and out, and it just doesn't work. So when you're dealing with a system like the media, you can't change your mind day in, day out, because it's all about strategy. They're moving around PR agencies all the time. This is Meghan driving it. I don't believe it's Harry driving it.
No, I agree with you, but that is his family. He sat there on that couch while Meghan Markle mock cursed the Queen. And she didn't curtsy when she got married to Harry. She just walked past it. And by the way, she would have, I can guarantee you something, because they did rehearsals. I am sure she curtsied during the rehearsals. But when she walked by, she didn't need to anymore. Because you see, she doesn't need to make the effort anymore because she is already married.
But this is also like, remember another one of the lies when she said, we got married before, actually. Do you remember that? When she said, like, we're already married. So, well, you weren't. You might have had a blessing in your garden, which is lovely. But also for someone...
Or a wedding rehearsal at the vows.
Yeah, but why not keep those things to yourself? It was almost like her saying, just so you know, what you watched, it actually wasn't the wedding because we already got married. So,
yeah. It was a spectacle, but I just want to correct something from Denise Favata. Fergie never slammed the royal family. I suggest you go watch her interviews or earlier interviews with Oprah. She not only badmouthed the royal family, she badmouthed the Queen, calling her cheap and all kinds of things that she ate out of a plastic container, that she forced her. You know the pantyhose story? That's Fergie saying that the Queen forced her to have watts of electricity, certain watts.
Yeah, she wasn't even allowed certain light bulbs, she said.
Yes. You know, it's like, I only had in the interview. So Oprah starts by showing the grand, the grand halls and stuff where they have the state bank. And then she goes, and Oprah, very bitchy, because Oprah's a snake. She goes, do your rooms look anything like that? And Sarah goes, Fergie goes, oh God, no. I only have a bedroom, a sitting room, 2 bathrooms, a study. And of course, you know, we don't have a kitchen. You don't, because you have the freaking royal chefs down at the bottom, you know. So I only have 4 rooms.
Oh, like, so is that why Andrew went out and kept meeting people at Ghislaine Maxwell's house?
Yes.
There wasn't enough room.
Yeah, but yeah, she only had a full bedroom, 2 bathrooms, a sitting room, a study, and a baby room. So it was 4 or 5 rooms or something like that. She didn't need a kitchen because she has like 200 servants. Why would she need a kitchen? And from what we heard from Andrew Lowney, I mean, this woman would order like what she would eat, and they had to have the venison, they had to freeze the lettuce. I mean, and this is what really bothers me, that these women who were absolutely nobodies suddenly become the experts of, I want you to freeze my lettuce because it has to be crispy.
I mean, Fergie as well has done nothing but capitalize on her.
It's horrible. So Fergie, I urge you to. She even opened that Princess Diana had bunions. Why the fuck would you go and say something so personal about that? You know, because she wanted to portray Diana as somebody imperfect, because she was envious of Princess Diana being so beautiful and everything. You know, so in that show, she said Diana has bunions. Or when she went to bitch because she wasn't invited to Catherine's wedding and Prince William's. She's divorced. She's a divorced person. You know, it's like, and she goes on Oprah on a worldwide stage when Oprah was at the height of her popularity to bitch about Prince William, about not being invited, but that she dressed her girls. They're like 20 something. What the hell are you doing dressing? You know, like what I mean? And she goes on public television to shame William because she wasn't invited. After the scandal where she was caught selling access for cash, 500,000 pounds at the time was $1 million, guys.
And also had a loan from Jeffrey Epstein. And this
not $15,000, not $15,000. And she had gone to Barbados with Jeffrey Epstein because Ghislaine Maxwell is on the record. And she just didn't say this. She said it for many, many years. She did not introduce Andrew to Fergie. In fact, she saw Fergie as competition.
But also, this is what I thought was really weird about that story. £15,000 or dollars, yes, it is a lot of money, but it's not a lot of money for someone in the royal family. You would, of all the people to go to, Jeffrey Epstein, you know, your husband's best friend. I just thought that was really weird. They lie, you know, too many of the royals lie, and it then puts shame on people like William and Catherine, who are genuinely doing a great job, and the rest of them fuck it up for them.
Yep. Absolutely. And people, you know, like, you know what? I wouldn't blame William if William said, fuck this shit. I'm out of here. I don't have to put up, because Charles was very sneaky when he had his director of media meet with Harry and Meghan and have them publicly. Make no mistake, this wasn't even Meghan leaking it. This was Charles leaking this information.
I've got a post on my Instagram. I broke the story about how this was a leak, because where it took place was at a private members club.
The Den, wasn't it?
Sorry?
Was it the Den?
No, it was the Royal. It's in the post on my Insta. I'll pin it after this chat. Mm-hmm. But we have post Leveson over here, post the phone hacking. We have allegedly a set of rules the press have to stick to. I mean, utterly bloody pointless. But it was where the pictures were taken was on private property, and it was shot up to a balcony. This was totally 100% tipped off. There's no doubt about it, because the Mail on Sunday, I think it was the Mail on Sunday or the Mail that ran the pictures, they would be, if it wasn't set up, they would be breaking press code guidelines by running it, because it was on private property. So it was a setup, 100%.
It is actually, by the way, don't forget to buy your ticket. Nobody has bought a ticket, guys. You can buy tickets. That helps the shelter. But I mean, we're going to wrap it up, and Laura and I are going to be coming to you weekly. We're going to cover a bunch of other things, because I am dying to cover the Priscilla Presley story. And and Emma Willis, you know, the one who's married to Bruce Willis, who has a horrible form of dementia. Oh my gosh, she just did an interview with Oprah Winfrey. I want to puke. It's the same format as with Meghan Markle. Bruce Willis, this woman, nobody would know who she is. She's just another Meghan Markle.
But why aren't they why? I mean, look, each to their own. Some may argue that they're raising awareness for what Bruce Willis is going through. But also, wouldn't you just want to get on with your life privately, because you don't need the money? So why are you doing this? Like, I would have said, let Bruce's legacy be his last words, instead of people continuing to.
She has to show how much of a victim she is. How else is she going to do that? You know, because she goes and says, even his daughter, who, by the way, is promoting a single. Yeah. So the daughter goes and using and she mentions his daughter, and is promoting a single. I mean, this woman is not wiping his butt or anything like that. You know, they have tons of people looking out for him. Okay, so this is not a woman who's around. So she's monetizing, and she's portraying herself the victim, because, oh, you have no idea, caregivers are the ones who are at higher risk of, you know, dying younger, because, you know, we go through so much. Yeah, this is for regular people who have no staff, who are in regular healthcare, and they're so, because in the United States it's you have to pay for everything. You're on Medicaid, you know, you're screwed. So yeah,
I need to watch this interview. I've not seen it.
Oh, I'm going to send it to you. Because it's disgusting. I mean, Emma Willis and Priscilla Presley, she pulled the plug on her daughter without the plug on her daughter, and her daughter has it legally saying that she didn't want anybody to pull the plug. She wanted them to take the most severe or whatever means necessary to keep her alive. And Priscilla ordered the doctors to pull the plug when it wasn't even that long. You know, people wake up from comas and stuff like that. And her daughter, she didn't even give a chance for her daughter to arrive to the hospital. This woman is a monster. Why is she still going by Priscilla Presley? This is why I think we have the Sussex, Meghan Sussex, that she doesn't understand that Duchess of Sussex is not a last name.
Yeah.
It's like when the United States is a last name.
She said it works for us and our family.
No, it doesn't.
Paula said strip her of her name.
You know, no, but but that's insane, because in the royal website it tells you that the Queen in 1960 with her Privy Council, They decided that descendants from the Queen and Prince Philip's union, if they needed a last name, would be Mountbatten Windsor. Both their invented kids have Mountbatten Windsor on their birth certificate.
So do you think the kids do you think the kids exist, or do you think?
Oh, I think the kids exist, but I don't think she carried them.
Right, yeah, a lot of people have said that. I mean, look,
listen, if this woman had carried those children, we would never, ever, this woman would have monetized.
yeah.
I mean, everything. This woman would have. I've said that the day that Meghan Markle can produce a picture of her wearing a bikini while she was pregnant, I shut down my channel. She will never be able to do that because she never carried those children.
Well, all I know is that when I was going in for my 2 C-sections, I could barely walk. I was in tears. I was in so much pain, which I'm not the only one. It's, what you can't do is start slut dropping in the hospital.
That's not it. It's COVID. It's COVID. People forgot that it was COVID. You know that I'm the YouTuber that actually brought up the fact that it was during COVID time, at the height of COVID in Santa Barbara. I wrote to the hospital. They wrote back to me. They called me back. I have the phone numbers. They called me back and they sent me the guidelines. They even sent me links to their YouTube, because they went on YouTube, the Santa Barbara Cottage, saying that they had banned, you could not have children, the partner could not be, or the husband could not be there. You had to wear masks at all times in the room, because it's a central system. So it's not like you're in a clean room where you're cut off from the central ventilation system. It was during the height of COVID. They even had tents outside for mothers to give birth. And at that time, if Meghan Markle was late, they would have had to induce her, which is basically breaching her placenta. She would have been in so much pain. She would have been in a gown by the hospital. She wouldn't have the cannula right here. I mean, it's insane. Everything is wrong. And they told me that they had been there 11 days before to the hospital. That was because as soon as she posted that, a bunch of parents started contacting, complaining in the hospitals because they were going to be sued. Because a lot of these parents who had their children or gave birth around that time were not allowed to be with their husbands by their side. Harry saying
I had my eldest daughter during COVID and everything, and we had to go for COVID tests. It was awful, and I was so anxious that he may not have been able to stay with me. And we had it was such a sterile environment. And also, what I would say, I don't know whether she did or didn't carry the children, but you don't do things like that before you're about to have a child.
First of all, it's medically impossible, because I also had somebody who had children at the Portland hospital and who actually had postpartum preeclampsia.
Yeah.
And I did that video with her, and we're like, and she's a friend, she's very lovely. And then she's like, that's impossible, especially because she was also a geriatric pregnancy. They make you stay. And don't forget that everything in Meghan's life is traumatic.
Yeah.
So there was no way in hell that if they have to tap your epidural twice, that you're walking, because Harry says that within 2 hours of having given birth to the boy, they were back at Frogmore Cottage. You have to take into consideration the driving time, because by then, according to him, he didn't have any Royal Police Protection officers, which is bullshit. So they wouldn't stop the vehicles. And Frogmore Cottage from the hospital was about an hour and 20 minutes in regular traffic.
But also, I had I had a C-section for my last daughter as well, and she was taken to intensive care for 3 days. I couldn't see my own daughter for the first day, because they will not. I got willed, so she came into the room with me for a bit, and then she wasn't breathing properly, and they had to take her away. They would not let me go up until I could feel proper feeling in my legs.
Your legs. The same with me. I had an epidural. I had a C-section. But I interviewed Scott Rouse, and then I mentioned it to Scott Rouse in an email. He goes, "Oh shoot, it's true. I didn't mention because he did a video." But by the time he had done the video, because I saw the video, right? I said, "By the way, Scott, you didn't mention that it was COVID," and I sent him what the hospital sent me. He goes, "Oh my God, we forgot that it was COVID." And in June 2021. There were 17,000 cases just in Santa Barbara alone. So they banned even people from coming in. It was just horrible. So it's impossible. And even Gayle King did an interview with a woman crying, saying that they didn't allow her husband to be there and blah, blah, blah. So there's no way. There's absolutely no way. And the reason why the Santa Barbara Cottage Hospital wasn't sued is because they were able to prove that Meghan Markle didn't do that thing there.
But also she did, like, last point, but she did a couple of days after the birth, she was wearing white, right? And look, everyone's pregnancy and everything is different, but I was in so much pain. I was literally screaming, and you get trapped wind in your shoulder. So you literally are like, it's just cramp all here and here. You can't move. I could not even get into a tracksuit. And you're telling me she's walking in a white dress.
This is the thing that we go with the press. We circle back to the press.
Yeah.
That why I brought that up, that it was COVID. A lot of people have seen my video. And now it's got rousing everybody. Nobody's talking. All the YouTubers and even the press or royalty, whatever, are not mentioning that it was COVID. That they didn't allow people to be in the rooms. The hospital is there. Their interviews are online, and they wouldn't make exceptions for Harry or Meghan because nobody wants to die. I'm sorry. At that time, this is a highly contagious disease. At the height of the thing, they're not gonna risk the staff, all the workers' life, just so Harry and Meghan can do a little dance.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's absolute. But I don't we go back to the media that they don't call that out
because it's a push-pull relationship. And so what you'll see with Harry and Meghan now is their profile is very disjointed. So you'll see, by and large, they're very disliked, but you then will see some journalists or some outlets work with them, and it's all very kind of puff piece, as I call it, approved questions, not challenged, and that's how the media don't do their job. I think we expect them to operate like a proper trustworthy ecosystem, and they don't. They are a for-profit ecosystem that have kind of push-pull relationships with celebrities. And so that's so right. Someone said I couldn't even pee after an epidural. I was around with my weird bag. It's awful.
My legs for hours, and the doctor had a C-section. But at the Portland Hospital, when you're at geriatric pregnancy and you have an epidural, you have to remain in the hospital until you're able to pee or poo, and they're released until the next day, especially a royal child. So you're telling me that Meghan gives birth, they slap the shit out of the baby, they don't even check him for jaundice. They don't sew her up because you tear. I didn't have a vaginal birth, thank God. I would never. There's no way I would have given there is no possibility on earth that you would have seen Paula M go give a. That's not happening. It was a planned C-section. The only thing is my son came earlier because we had some complications. So he was born on the 8th month. On June, I was 8 months pregnant, so he had to come out. But I was not a geriatric pregnancy. They didn't have to tap up my epidural, and my son was born.
I was a geriatric pregnancy with both of mine. I'm 38, and so I had my first daughter at 34 and the second at 36. And after my epidural, so not only was I, my daughter was then on another floor, I had literally a catheter, whatever it's called, full of wee, because you've got to hook that over to go and see her. I couldn't walk from my room to the door of my room. They had to help me because it is the weirdest sensation for anyone that's not had one. And I was then in a wheelchair. They took me up with my bag of wee hooked onto me because you haven't got the feeling in your lower part of the body.
Yeah, and not only that, when you have a vaginal birth, a lot of times they will cut you so you don't tear, and then they have to sew you up. So you're telling me that they put Meghan Markle within an hour because they had to put her in the van within an hour, so they're back at Frogmore Cottage within 2 hours, because you have to take into consideration driving time, which is about an hour.
Yeah.
Okay, so within an hour, they wipe her off, sew her up, check that baby, slap the shit, put him back in the thing, and just off you go. No, that didn't happen. And then everybody's complicit with this BS. And then the palace, for the first time in the history of the monarchy, gets the time wrong.
I know.
Succession. For the first time, and I want you to understand this, guys, for the first time in the history of the monarchy over 1,000 years, they got the deed, because before they used to, the entire court had to be present to watch the birth.
Yeah.
In 1948, they used to have until 1948.
This was the first royal baby, wasn't it? That wasn't delivered.
Verified. None of them are verified.
Gynecologists, though.
Hmm?
So everyone would always go to the Lido wing, is it, in London?
No, because no. For example, I don't know where Eugenie and no, because Sarah had Fergie had the kids at the Portland hospital, and they were outside. And Meghan Markle saying that she didn't want to call them because she didn't want them to block the emergency entrance. There's no emergency entrance at the Portland hospital.
The Portland hospital as well, actually, it's really interesting to say. The celebrities love it because you can get, ritzy afternoon tea 2 hours after
24 hours. They do high tea.
It's actually not, in my opinion, a very good hospital.
It's
you
bad.
are better to be in a hospital where the NHS operate, because the NHS's intensive care, A&E, everything is where you want to be.
Yeah.
I went private for one of my births, and he said, it's good that you're in a NHS hospital, because actually there is nowhere better to be when the shit hits the fan.
Yeah, for example, the lady that Jennifer that I interviewed, she's an amazing YouTuber. She said that you can at the Portland treat certain emergencies, but if it's really bad, they have to move you to a hospital that can handle those emergencies, which is not ideal.
Yeah.
Like when the Duchess of Edinburgh almost died with her daughter, she basically was dying. But anyways, we're going to get going because it's an hour and a half and I wanted to do only an hour. But we're going to have Lauren back next week. We're going to be doing a weekly thing and we're going to be preparing you guys. And I want you have embarrassed me here in the World Wide Web because we didn't get to 1,000 subscribers, barely 453. You have embarrassed me publicly. All my subscribers, you have embarrassed me not welcoming. And we have over 1,000 of you here, guys. I'm going to tell you exactly how many people are viewing this right now. I'll tell you how many of you should have subscribed to Lauren, because I have 4,500 watching in real time. And you guys.
So once they all subscribe, I'll come back and do another chat.
Hopefully by the end of the week or next week, you guys, I am. Yeah, and go buy a raffle, okay? Claudia, you haven't bought the raffle tickets. So
you are funny.
Why?
You are.
No. But I just want to say thank you, guys, and I want to thank Lauren for coming here.
Thank you for having me.
No, it's going to be fun, and I'm going to send you the topics for next week. And anybody who wants to do any, if you guys want us to cover a specific topic, please let us know, because I have a video coming because Meghan Markle once again has done something very, very stupid, which is leak the exact location where Princess Diana is buried.
Al Spencer's estate.
I'll talk to you later. Laura, I'll tell you this after the show. She has leaked the exact location where Princess Diana is actually buried, which is really stupid.
Wow.
Yeah, and you're going to start seeing it. A lot of YouTubers on the Sussex Squad talking about this. So it's very, very interesting. So thank you very much for subbing to Lauren, and this is just the first, so we're both getting to know each other. So next week we're going to be much more fun. Don't worry about it. Thank you for subscribing, and thank you for all your support and for everything. And Lauren, thank you for your time. And can you tell me what you're working on your channel at the moment?
Yeah, I've got to do some content. I've been really busy, but I'm going to make sure there's lots more content going out.
And you're also on the Shout Out With channel.
Yes, I love it. It's I just did an amazing interview with a survivor of the grooming gangs tonight. And yeah, I've got lots of exciting things coming up, all things that you won't hear in the for-profit mainstream media.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing, and it's also amazing the jealousy that's going on and with YouTubers and stuff like that, like the little cliques that it's formed, it's quite sad really to see that, because one thing I do give the Sussex squad, they're united. I mean, they're like, "Ah!" So.
Yeah.
But thank you for coming, Lauren, and please go subscribe to her channel. And thank you very much for joining us today. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you so much.